Welcome in, everybody. We've got some Warlords 5 action. I do think I need to have the image on screen. Otherwise, it won't feel real. There we go. Looking real now. ACCM, it's had a good showing so far. ACCM hoping to get the victory here, moving directly into the quarterfinals in the playoff brackets. He's playing as the Georgians here in the red. In the blue, we've got Liereyy playing as the Way. Another civ that I think can work very well on this map. The Way, of course, wanting to play a bit more defensive early, because for every eco upgrade, they get an additional Vil. Liereyy is the favorite in almost every single set he goes into, and I would expect that to be the case here, because I just think this is a really good map to play for his style. Lierey's about, like, get the kill quickly, and get the kill quickly he will have the potential to do here on Kilimanjaro, because it's a very open map. Now, other versions of Kilimanjaro, ones that have been in some of my events and other events, you'd have like resources in the middle you could go to. That's gone here. So it's all about the hill here. And there's even less wood on the hill itself. So it's pretty much about like full army. We already see an early barracks here from ACCM. He's actually going to try and switch it up a little bit. It's kind of interesting though. You get chickens here. And you also get the zebra. But ACCM is going to want to play different things than Liereyy. You cannot play... Like, if it's a scout map, you can't just play scouts against Liereyy and expect to win. Liereyy is maybe the best player in the world at like, execution, right? And he always plays to get an advantage through military. So I like the idea from ACCM to try and play into something that could surprise him here. And, yeah, barracks is up really fast. It's also 9 villagers starting this tourney, so doesn't affect too much on this map, but that's why they're able to be up a little bit faster. It's funny, anytime I'm doing a 9 villager start tournament, there's always one guy. I feel like they're always named Bob. For whatever reason, Bob always shows up, and Bob's like, what? These players are incredible. 6-minute feudal time. I can't do that, even with the Mongols. Especially on the fast castle maps. Because there it's, you know, eliminates 3 minutes. They're like, damn, that castle time. So yeah, I point that out and I'm like, it does cut off some time because of the faster start. Sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to call you out. Bob's in chat right now. It might be another Bob. I guess there's a lot of Bobs, but let's see. To be honest, because of what I said, because this map isn't as defensive as I think other versions could be, you could argue that the Way's not necessarily nearly as good. I was a little surprised to see that Tatars wasn't picked here, by the way, from both players. A scout from ACCM runs through. And I think Liereyy, he sees the score is pretty high, and he's already pre-walled, like he's expecting the potential for a drush. Not sure if ACCM did that before, but, I mean, the militia are on the way right now. Lierey's just pushing in his food. Thing is, you have less time to scout in the 9 villagers start too, so you're going to see more games where people just kind of guess what their opponent's opening is going to be. And Liereyy has not moved forward at all because he just wants a little bit of extra food, and he's got less time to bring it in. Still doesn't know exactly what's coming in. He definitely wants a stable here. He will drop the stable there. Now, he can manage this. Yeah, look at ACCM. ACCM looks at this and understands if he shows his army, Liereyy will see this, quick wall this, and everything's going to be fine. So he's like, he's trying to decide on how he wants to do this. And now Liereyy sees the man-at-arms if he's paying attention. And now Liereyy should understand the units are on the way. Already has the wood upgrade, so already has that villager lead. It's just unfortunate for ACCM, but like, so far anyways, hasn't done enough. To be honest, I'm not sure if Liereyy saw that. Okay, I mean, Lierey's pulling a couple more villagers, but I'm surprised he's going for the full wall. Maybe it's just because he's just able to get the job done. And yeah, he's got it well calculated, actually. If the man-at-arms come in, he should be fine. And that's crazy, dude. That's just crazy. Because if that scout blocks for half a second, the rest of the game changes. Welcome to Age of Empires 2 with Liereyy. He gets the timing right. And yeah, now the man-at-arm investment doesn't look too good. And the Georgians don't really want to be playing infantry. They typically want to play scouts. ACCM opened this way so he could get some early pressure. And man-at-arms is costly, and not being able to push that final zebra and everything really affects the food eco. No double bit axe for ACCM either. So you go for the aggression to get damage. You don't get damage, and now your own eco is worse off for it against a better eco. This is really good to start for Liereyy. In fact, Lierey's also got the perfect scout production here. So he's actually able to kill this. And he goes in, and oh my goodness, dude. So far, has not even been a fair start. Liereyy, everything that he wanted to go right for him has done so. 4-1 KD. Man-at-Arms are dead. It's not GG. It's not GG, but things are looking very good. Because now you have time to breathe. And now you can go squeeze in the horse collar upgrade, which you might not have otherwise done if you were under a lot more pressure. And there it is. I don't think you need to research the gold mining upgrade here. I think you'll be happy with the 2 villager lead. You can call it a day from there. Get the gold mining upgrade later. There's no reason to rush that when you don't really need the gold. But Liereyy just needs to mass the skirms at home. You saw the archers and spearmen are coming forward. And ACCM going for the big walls. He is walled, from what I can see, so that's good. Like, not having double bid axe, though, is very painful. Luckily, he's got the mule cart, so that adds to some efficiency naturally. He also has a pretty nice setup here with the walls. So, we'll see. Maybe he can get some value. But I think Liereyy is expecting this, and Liereyy sees it. And Liereyy, if he takes down the spearmen, he can even bring the scouts back. He doesn't have fletching yet. So ACCM will take the fight. Liereyy actually sends the vills there to engage, just to mix things up a little bit. But he might lose a villager. And yeah, that should be a dead villager there for Liereyy. Very surprised that he chose to send the villager out there like that. But also, I don't think he was expecting the villager to be weakened because the fletching wasn't in. Weird unit control there from Liereyy, to be honest. Kind of runs on through. And now he'll get the clear up. But yeah, I mean, there's... The only thing that I could really say about the corners is there is wood there. So... But there's no stones, there's no gold. So as you look at this map long term, you're really just thinking about the hill. It's not like there's that much more wood in the corners either. I mean, that's pretty far away to sneak to. I think this is a really good map for cav archers. Could sometimes be awkward too because of the lack of wood. But we tend to see a lot of scouts into cav archers on this map. Georgians can do that. The Wei have their Jean Bay instead of their CA, but it's basically their version. So I think that's why these civs have been selected. Slight resources collected lead for Liereyy. We'll still maintain that one additional villager. And we actually have a stable behind this from ACCM. But if you're going to build the stable to go for additional scouts to surprise skirms, you need to have more than one scout. And I think for him, he's realized, like, I don't want to spend the food and delay my castle age, so he's going to wait. Yo, tier 3 sub from Burn. Yo, Burn, what's up, man? Thank you. Thank you for the 11 months. Chat, hello, everybody. Very chill chat. That's cool. You guys have your feet propped up, drinking your coffee. That was me this morning before the stream. Thank you, guys. I will say, so from, like, a game balance perspective, there are some aspects of this Kilimanjaro I don't love. I love the flag at the top of the hill. I love the dead bodies. I love the skeletons at the top. That's a really nice detail. Also love the snow. I think that was there before. The way the hill shape and everything, it looks very nice. So, yeah, there's not a ton of gold. There's not a ton of anything on this map. This map is just pretty barren overall. There's the resources in total on the map. T90, how'd community games go on Friday? Good. Good. I had a lot of fun. We did have a player or two in their first community game have some really embarrassing moments, which was hilarious for viewers, not so good for them. So I don't know if they're here right now. We had an I don't want to spoil too much, but in Exploding Villagers, guys, if you have all your villagers in one spot and you delete one of them, they all go boom in a chain reaction. Just say, in case you haven't seen that or played that mod. That was a little embarrassing for somebody. Gold is getting harassed. Liereyy can see everything he wants to see right now. He sees the ranges. He's actually going to continue to play skirms here. So he's not going to play, at least right now, he's not planning on Jean Bay. Obviously, the Jean Bay can be produced from the ranges as well. And the scout from ACCM just double-checking the front there. Just to see exactly what Lierey's going to do. But yeah, I mean, it feels fairly comfortable for Liereyy at the moment. Only thing I'll say is his wood situation all in the front is rough. He does see these wood lines over here, so he could drop a town center there. Could drop a town center maybe closer to the base. Yeah, that's good because it gives you the wood, the stone, and protects those villas a little. And ACCM will go for the second town center. Start massing cav archers, but also make a knight or two behind this. Still no double bid axe for ACCM. Villagers gather wood 20% faster. It's only 150 resources. And yeah, he just went to go get bow saw. And we've all been there before. He's like, ah, crap. I thought I had double bid. Obviously, he tried to click it. He probably tried to go man-at-arms and double bid axe right at the start of feudal. Was just missing the resources. And then he assumed he had it until now. Liereyy snipes the archers there. And Liereyy can get even more eco upgrades, which he hasn't done yet. But if he gets even more eco upgrades, then he'll get the additional vills from that as well. And he'll be on the second town center. And here come the Jean Bays. The Jean Bays have bloodlines. And Jean Bay versus Cav Archer, I think, is fairly even. There's some minor differences, like Cav Archers will have more HP. There's also probably a slight cost difference, slight training difference. To be honest, I don't have it all memorized. I can just tell you it's close enough. The big thing, though, that the Georgians don't get is Thumb Ring. So I think missing out on Thumb Ring is incredibly painful in the long term here for the Georgian Cav Archers. What's nice, though, is you do regen slightly, so if there's breaks between engagements, I prefer the Georgians. The thing is, there's no breaks here. This is Kilimanjaro, dude. There's no breaks. It's all gas, no breaks. So, a university there for Liereyy. T90, are you streaming on YouTube as well? I'm not. I'm just streaming on Twitch. Good morning. Not really planning on streaming on YouTube again for a while. It was nice, but the video, it can hurt video performance, and I'm only going to do so if I'm doing so like super consistently. So next time there's an event, like I'm going to do so for really important events for me, or events where I'm covering like every single game. There I'd probably consider doing so, and it would also be at times where I'm not focusing on cool videos, which is not right now. One's in chat if you saw the Secret Missionary Rush video. I really enjoyed that one. It was fun. T90, will you be covering USA Cup? Well, there was this player named Calpit who I thought was a dark horse, and I was planning on covering the entirety of USA Cup if Calpit made it into the main event and did some big things. Unfortunately, this player did not. So, Calpit, unfortunately, I will not be casting any USA Cup. Oh, wait, that's you. Oh, shoot. Oh, cool. Awkward. No, I will. I will be covering some of that. In fact, later on today, Daniel plays. So I might hop online and cast the Daniel series. Daniel Yellow Jacket should be interesting. I'm not sure, though. We've got a lot of games to cover in this tournament today. Jean Bays have pretty much kept the map locked down. But ACCM has a solid eco. It just feels like he can't really get away from Liereyy at the moment. Like, Liereyy sees every move he makes. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see a castle or siege workshop or town center at the top of this hill here for Liereyy. I think Liereyy senses that these units have run away. He kept really good track of them. He notices they're not there anymore. Luckily, he kept these skirms alive. He's still waiting for them. Still doesn't see them. And their ACCM was checking to see what's happening. And now ACCM sees this. Like, ACCM doesn't even have ballistics, guys. The timings have just not been there. Playing into range units, you don't even have ballistics. He just missed that kill because of that. And now Liereyy knows he didn't lose a unit to know that his opponent's over here. And ACCM knows that Lierey's probably going to look for him, so he has to run home. It's actually the correct move from him to run home. It's just like this never-ending cycle of him not having control of the middle hill. Again, it is just such a good map for Liereyy. The second I saw this for game one, the chances for Liereyy to win this series went up an extra 5 to 10% in my mind. And, man, ACCM's just going to get completely trapped here, isn't he? Maybe not completely trapped. Might even be able to get a kill on that unit there. But he's just trying to run away. Not having an easy time of it. And now he stops. And now he'll try and dance a little bit. But I don't think this is going to end up being a very good engagement for ACCM. He's still hoping to play Cav Archers, but he's going to lose this whole group. But the bigger storyline, really, is this. Town center up on the hill for Liereyy, and Lierey's been on stone this whole time, just waiting for a castle. And this could be a get out of my game castle, or it could just be a very safe castle at the top of the hill. And then you can make Tiger Cav, which are insanely good against Cav Archers. Liereyy just so dominant right now. 25 population lead. But this is just what you expect from Liereyy, right? But it's also why ACCM tried something different. He needed value from that opening. It just wasn't able to get it. He worked against his own Civ bonuses to try and surprise Liereyy. And then it compounded even more because then he didn't have double bid X because of how complicated that build is and how fast you need to move forward. And then Liereyy just punishes. NP says it's just Civ difference. I don't think it's Civ difference, no. I think the Civ matchup is very close. Maybe I say 55% for Way. Even if you give it 60, you have to give full credit to Liereyy. Like, he just makes it look so easy. And Liereyy microing again. And Liereyy doesn't actually take down that Mangonel. So there's actually Civ difference, because Jean Bays have 5 base attack. Cav Archers would have 6. So if that is Cav Archers there, you would take down the siege faster. There's one thing the Jean Bay are not as good at, clearly, in these engagements. But now you have the hill. And the castle's going up as well. And Liereyy, he's saving up for the Imperial Age. ACCM will do the same. But he has got to fight up Kilimanjaro right now. The Monk gets sniped. The Cav Archers could get sniped. Liereyy microing. Lierey's just dancing away from the Mangonels for now. Taking down the Cav Archers. This is crazy micro, but Liereyy makes it look easy. And once the Cav Archers are gone, he can take down the Mangonels. And these Mangonels just are not going to be enough to push up the hill. Crazy micro, dude. Crazy micro. From both players, honestly. But for ACCM, it's so much more difficult because he's fighting up the hill. He doesn't have the same amount of army. He also didn't have the ballistics upgrade still. And he needed that to pan out. 41 kills. 21 deaths for Liereyy. And he's going to mix in some Tiger Cav too, which make the job twice as hard for ACCM because of their strength against archers. And so I think we'll see Imp. I mean, there's 28 Jean Bays for Liereyy. He's going to click up to Imp. There you can play Traction Trap, or you could just upgrade the Jean Bays. ACCM is going to use the next couple moments as a bit of a warm-up, I think. First game, play on a bit longer, get a feel, like get the nerves out of your system. As I like to say, just push this game out of your mind. You don't want to be thinking about what went wrong in this game when you're like sitting in the lobby before the second game. A lot of players will do this. They feel like they're probably dead, but they're going to play it out a bit longer to get warmed up. T90 for real, though? Do you believe when ACCM failed the initial man-at-arms rush that it was GG then? It's not GG, but like, you're further behind than you would be had you opened scouts. Obviously, like, if he has double bid, the game plays out a bit differently as well. But, like, it is honestly one of those risks against Liereyy where I can understand from a viewer's perspective, you're like, well, against Liereyy, then it's GG. Yeah, maybe. But again, it's like, it's just Liereyy is so inevitable, right? And so you try and find these strats because you can't play the same build as him because if you do, he outplays you. So then you have to try and find some counter builds, and the counter builds come with their own risks, you know? It's just Liereyy things. But like this map doesn't have a lot of potential for many surprises too, right? He found the one thing he could try was the Georgian man-at-arm rush. Cav Archers break in. Villagers are going down on a church. The Tiger Cav are fully protecting the Jean Bays as well. More villagers going down. for poor ACCM. It just sends the Tiger Cav in there. Tiger Cav are ridiculously good. That is before +2 armor, by the way. Crazy unit. And ACCM sees him, calls the GG. Like I said, I think this game was over for a while. Castle Age control was just too good from Liereyy. And everything ACCM tried, like he tried to sneak. He also had to remain competitive with the villager count, which he was able to do for a while. It was never going to work out. And Liereyy looked very, very, very comfortable. And I think there's one map. This is just my assessment. I obviously could be wrong. I think there's one map that, oh, sorry, score is wrong, that Liereyy can be a bit surprised by. But I think the other map that ACCM picked, I think it should be pretty straightforward for Liereyy if Leary's able to play this sharp. Let's see what ACCM could do. I would go to Basmo next to try and get a win on the board and shake Liereyy up a little bit. 2.24 KD. Eco is pretty much perfect behind this. And as Liereyy once said, it's simple. If you don't lose fights, you can't lose a game. Actual Liereyy quote, by the way. T90, when this is over, can you go back to the moment Liereyy walled out the man-at-arms? I feel like if ACCM kept his scout closer, he could have blocked the wall. Yeah, I can show you, and I can show you exactly why you're... ACCM tried exactly what you're saying, and I can show you why you're slightly wrong there. So, you're talking about this moment here, and ACCM tries to do exactly what you're saying. So ACCM knows this is going to be walled up, and he obviously needs to buy time for the man-at-arms, but there's a spearman there, right? So he's trying to find a way to block. The man-at-arms still needs some time. And so he has to circle back in at the perfect time to get the block. This is actually all perfect to try and get the block, but he had to back away just because the spearman was there. And then the house goes down at the perfect time. So he tried everything he said. It's just Liereyy just outplays him there. Maybe unfortunate for him, ACCM, not to have the scout a bit closer, but he had to back away because of the spear. And, like, Liereyy would have probably placed that house ever so slightly faster. But if you listen to what I said during the cast, it's like, that's just so Liereyy. Perfect timing, you defend from it, the push, and that's already, because we know behind this, ACCM doesn't have the eco upgrades, it ends up being very good for Liereyy. It's like you get the additional vills with the way, your opponent misses out on an eco upgrade, and their military doesn't do the damage. All right, so game 2, we just had a bit of a restart, and I think it was because ACCM couldn't take his shorefish. Not even sure these villagers can escape, actually. We'll see. ACCM will drop his town center here with 7 vills. We'll build a dock with 2. These vills are really important because these vills need to give him food. Chinese don't have any food at the start. And so the villagers are on that food. So again, 9 villagers start in Warlords. This will be +3 villagers for the Chinese player. But you only get those 3 villagers once the TC completes. And Lierey's TC is not on a wood line. What's going on, bro? They want their TCs up so fast, but Lierey's town center... This is bad. For a nomad start, you really want to be on the wood line. But that's not a bug. That's just, like, really unfortunate. So this... I mean, you can manage this, but you want to go early fishing ship count here, guys. And if your TC's not on a wood line, you only have 2 trees, you're going to have the lumber camp, which will delay you. And when the Chinese already have the villager advantage, that's really, really good for ACCM. Liereyy will be frustrated with this. Can I go back? Guys, are you cool if I go back to just see Lierey's scouting at the start? Just to see when he placed this? Because I'm sure it looked very different from his perspective. I'm going to go back and look real quick. They've got their transport just looking around. Let me just double check this. So he comes off the shoreline. You have a sheep, which is supposed to help you scout a little bit. Watch him find a tree and think it's his wood line. Watch, he'll find one tree, I promise you. Yeah, one tree, he's like, there's my wood line. Perfect. Oh, God. I mean, it's funny, but it's also, it sucks as a player, right? Because you have to get that TC up immediately, and if you don't, you're going to be behind. So it's just like really, 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 really unlucky. But no, that's a big deal here. Because already, like, Dravidian, their advantage would be having the fish lead. And they don't really have the fish lead now, and you already know you're behind in villagers. So I really like the start here for ACCM. And players with this transport ship, they're going to sit here. They can block and try and block off the opponent's fishing ships if they've got enough time. Right now, the transports are just sitting there. But yes, these little ponds of water are connected. So you can send Navy that way. Since you have the transport, some players will actually bring a Vil. They'll sail over and they'll build forward docks to try and pressure. And then on land, you're pretty close as well. So ACCM, he likes to go for kind of chaos mode. He likes to go for a lot of archers and towers. I've seen him play Koreans here a lot. I think Liereyy will be okay to deal with that if he wants to play for his own archers, skirms, navy. But Chinese, looking pretty damn good right now. I think it's just the fact that Liereyy is essentially down 1.5 fishing ships because he had to build the lumber camp. So that slows him down. Eco should be just about even, I would say. Just based on what I know. ACCM's got gold around. I don't think any golds are meant to be assigned to a player on this map. Just like the wood lines are a bit different. So the gold's going to be an issue for ACCM in theory. Whereas Liereyy's gold is right behind his TC. That's going to be really nice. Lots of gold, lots of stone. Neither player really going to rely on stone too early. And ACCM forgot a building. He forgot a lumber camp. You need 2 Dark Age buildings to go feudal. And he didn't build that lumber camp. So, I mean, his eco's still going to be smooth. But he's not going to have the uptime he wanted. He had 500 food there. He stopped to go feudal. And there he goes. Now he's on the way up. I could have been worse. He just didn't build it. And Liereyy already had the lumber camp, of course. He actually goes for 2 lumber camps. Liereyy, I think, has lost a sheep or 2. So he must know that his opponent's around here. You would guess that the opponent would just be like right near where the dock is, right? So again, it's like, just to complete my thought on this, it is nomad, but it's structured nomad. This isn't like, even what Liereyy's had here is very uncommon. How the TC was, how there was adaptation needed there. Outposting there from Liereyy in a barracks. And a villager here from Liereyy, which he thinks he's being sneaky with, but hello. Does ACCM look there? Hello. Also surprising that he's choosing to walk around this way to build a dock when other people had gone home with the transport ship. But ACCM might check the choke point, thinking there's going to be a dock there. And there's going to be a dock there, which he does not see for now. Barracks for ACCM. Barracks for Liereyy. Liereyy gets the extra wood from getting to feudal age. There's now the archer range from Liereyy too. And I think ACCM wants a tower here. He wants like archer range and then a tower. Archer ranges are going up right next to each other. ACCM sending a Vil down here. I think this is to get the sheep or the boar, but he'll find the dock actually. And Liereyy sees he's been spotted. And ACCM will respond with his own Hulk. Someone in chat says, this happens to me all the time. I'm sure ACCM learned this from my games. Missing the lumber camp. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah, I talked to ACCM the other day. He said there was this massive noob that he's been watching recently because it just makes him feel much better about himself. He said, I learned so much, T90. So maybe he's talking about you. The villager's going down, maybe. Archer's going to hop out for Liereyy here. Liereyy wants that villager badly. That's good villager micro. But there will be an archer as well for ACCM. Yeah, Liereyy wants that Vil. We'll see if he can get it. He actually sees the archer now. We'll go for the archer instead. And Liereyy gets the archer kill, and that archer can back away. So ACCM will be happy at least the villager's saved. Hulk is out here from Liereyy. There's 2 docks for ACCM. And of course, you can always garrison. So it's much easier for the defender, but it's still very complicated stuff at the moment. Especially when there's so much micro going on in the middle of the map. You can tell Liereyy is missing out on water engagements. And actually, maybe blocks with the transport. If he could save that Hulk, it's probably worth it. But, like, let's see who can manage this. I'm noticing there's so much sheep underneath Liereyy's town center. He's got 5 sheep underneath that TC right now. Liereyy goes in with the engagement. We'll micro down the Hulk. And ACCM not focusing down the weak one, which means there's more time for Liereyy to dish out the damage there. Look at those 2 weak Hulks in there, 15 HP. It feels like ACCM just can't keep up with the amount of things happening at once right now. Liereyy, I know it's only a 5 to 3 KD, but it's looking very smooth. The eco transitions are looking very smooth. The micro's looking very smooth. This skirmisher count's insane. And he's got fletching already, which ACCM doesn't have. Oh, man, this is so annoying for ACCM. He might actually have trouble on water here, too. Lierey's so smothering, man. Like, the fact that ACCM doesn't have these 2 kills is a big difference in the way the situation's going now. Because he didn't have those 2 kills, he now loses those 2 units, and now he could lose everything down here. And it's because he's still paranoid about all of this. And his archer range has now been walled up, too. So now he's making skirmishers from an archer range he can't even eject the units from. And now Liereyy dives on water. ACCM can keep his fish safe, but he cannot fish easily, and the fish could still work for Liereyy back here. Liereyy just so good with the transitions. Yeah, I think he just loves this map. I know it's an ACCM home map. I think this map's perfect for Liereyy. Also think 9 villager starts perfect for Liereyy. A little less time in the Dark Age. Just get to feudal age as quickly as possible. Get the skirmishers. Get to archers. Lierey's looking so good here. I feel for ACCM. Because he's a very good player. And he's... I mean, it just doesn't feel like it at the moment if you haven't seen these players play before. But it's just what Liereyy does to pretty much everyone. Skirmishers are going to run around now. And I think Liereyy maybe going a little too crazy there. He obviously wants damage from his army. So running through gives him that damage. Are demos not good against the Hulk? No, demos aren't really a good option against the Hulk, which I think sucks. Yeah, also, Lierey's elo is 2373 at the moment, which is kind of funny. It's obviously a really high elo compared to the average player, but that's noob level as far as the top 16 is concerned. Because Liereyy just doesn't play ranked. He just shows up and he dominates in tournaments. I think while ACCM's fish are still alive, hasn't been able to work with them, and now we have Liereyy. We'll lose his skirms to the scouts. So maybe it wasn't the best move to go through. But Liereyy is on the way to Castle Age now, and now he's going to mix in some archers. Still with some healthy food eco. Just now switched onto the mill. The additional sheep that he had were so good for his food eco. And of course, having his fish working the whole time was huge as well. I don't think the eco's there for elephant archers. Elephant archers are good if you have a big food eco. Liereyy doesn't have that. And actually, he's losing a couple of his fishing ships back here. Hold on, how did this happen? How did ACCM somehow sneak through? There's no sneak dock, so he was just able to make it through there. Liereyy did not catch that. That's really nice counter damage from ACCM. He just brought in a boar. He's got the berries. He'll find his Vil as well, which he might be able to kill. And he'll have the market. He's still Chinese, so if he can just hold... Also have a bit of scout presence on the map, could be very good. And yeah, he kills that villager. Liereyy will need to eventually transition into farms. Wouldn't hate to see that, because now at this point the fish are almost gone for him. He will actually kill the fishing ships from ACCM. ACCM ejected there. I think just a little focused elsewhere. Oh, man. Oh, God. Look at the villagers. What is going on, dude? They're so far from the lumber camps. They're on the wrong side of the wood line. ACCM clicks up. But Liereyy, he's in the Castle Age, as his units just told us. And there's the Siege Workshop. Liereyy knows it's just 2 scouts as well, so he could always just fight back with the villagers. And yeah, Liereyy, take that. He'll take that. He won't even lose a villager. Doesn't even lose a Vil. Town center will go up. ACCM's so busy at home. Has to build the double tower from the archers. Mangonel's on the way to attack the TC. I think ACCM will make it to Castle Age. But things are looking rough for him right now. Yeah, if you clear out the docks from ACCM, you can actually come down here and take this fish. But I think it's just the fact that, like, your opponent basically has 0 and you have some. And now you're moving on to more villagers with the town centers. That's the key. Yeah, now this town center is going to get attacked. I don't know what you do if you're ACCM. I really don't. I got a little excited for ACCM because the TC spot from Liereyy looked like it could have been made his start awkward, and Chinese are really, really good. I thought the combination of the two would mean that ACCM could have chances, but it's just like the water, land, pressure all at once. It's just so smothering. And now he's got to recover. This is good from Liereyy too. It's perfect understanding. He doesn't actually need to have all of his army here. Again, what I don't show you as often as is needed, he's also adding the farms. He's also transitioning his food eco. ACCM won't have the ability to do that very easily. He brings all of his villagers to this town center now. He needs a siege workshop up, but where do you even place it? You have no space. Genuinely no space. Okay, he'll place it there, which I think can still be denied. Town center's on the way down. The knights are going to loop around this way. Now, there's only 3 mangonels for Liereyy. We'll see if Liereyy can spot this. Knights do have armor. Liereyy will see it. Liereyy micros down the knights. He takes down the town center. Or sorry, is about to. The villagers are coming out. The knights are still not enough to take down all the siege. The villager underneath the TC will die. Villagers eject. And the mangonels still going to keep firing here. And ACCM doesn't have the wood to make a rocket cart because he repaired the town center. Oh, so painful. Oh, I feel so bad for ACCM. Monk's there. The monk does go down. But it doesn't even matter, really. Because the TC can't be repaired if you need a rocket cart. And if you need a rocket cart, you lose your TC. And all the vills have to run. And again, Liereyy, now from 0 to 13 farms, will soon probably be on a 3rd town center as well. He's actually going to town center there, which is kind of crazy. And Lierey's got a massive lead. He never was able to fully win water. He might even end up losing his fishing ships, but I don't really know if that matters at this point. Liereyy is just inevitable, man. ACCM, no TC gaming. But hey, he'll have a lot more food to spend on knights now with his 1 on food. Oh, no. Sometimes there is a positive spin to losing your TC if you're going food units, because then you could just go full army. But he doesn't even have that much food. And the thing is, Lierey's so good, he's not going to lose the fight. Like, like Liereyy still doesn't lose a unit. He takes down the rocket cart. Like, it's not even fair. Insane. I love Lierey's style, though. I just... It's fun to see a player be inevitable on the offensive like this. ACCM's hating it right now, but Liereyy just so good. 2-0 for Liereyy. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I think in this game, they both went for very similar builds. They went for the mix of water and land, and Liereyy was just able to keep the slightly better focus with the micro. And at least on water, Liereyy saving those 2 weak Hawks and ACCM not being able to snipe them was the difference there. And I think because then ACCM had to apply more focus on water to recover it, he then struggled even more on land. So just those 2 Hawks going down to low HP. Also, though, I noticed that Liereyy had a lot of sheep. And I remember ACCM scouting with a lot of sheep. So I just wanted to see, like, did he donate a lot of sheep or what? Maybe not. No, Liereyy just ended up with a lot of sheep underneath the TC, and ACCM didn't really have that. So while all that was going on, ACCM didn't have food eco underneath his TC, and Liereyy did. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's huge, because you can spend all your wood, all your resources on other things, whereas ACCM had to drop the mill. So... and, like, bring in a boar and take deer. Like, taking boar and deer at this stage of the game of a nomad game makes the game a lot harder for you, so. All right. Well, Lierey's doing Liereyy things here, guys. 1 win away now. He wins the next game. He moves directly into a quarterfinal. So Liereyy playing as the Khitans, ACCM playing as the Magyars. This is Crownwood, which was originally made for the Red Bull maps. There's been some ever so slight changes, just like balance changes, but the main aspects still remain the same. You have the wood up on these little hills, which makes them a bit tougher to defend. It almost feels like a Land Madness version now, where there's ability to expand all over the map and play aggressive. The wood line's going to be over here for ACCM. Now, chat, can you tell me, can you build on this little area? Forgive me for not knowing that. I don't think you can, but I know there's different versions of it. And for Red Bull, for example, you could wall. Okay, so everyone's saying no. Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, the fact that you can't build there means you can't wall from this tree to this house, for example, and play a more defensive approach. So this could actually be a big full feudal type of game. It's actually more aggressive than Land Madness. A lot of Land Madness versions have so much wood, and there's no elevation, of course. So I think Liereyy might be thinking about staying in feudal age for a while. ACCM with the Magyars as well also has a really good civ. They're spamming scouts and spears. Eventually getting into cav archers too could be really strong for him. So, Curious Caleb, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. DKR, thank you. Thanks for the 3. Appreciate it. I might step away here for a minute. You guys wouldn't unsub for that, right? Who knows? Some days, more people subscribe when I step away than when I'm even here. I'm going to be right back. I'll be right back. Game 3 here, Liereyy and ACCM. They're just going to push their deer, assuming the opponent's going scouts. There's not much happening. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. What do we miss? 2 more deer died, and the players are on the way to feudal age. Perfect. So pretty much as expected. So yeah, what I'm wondering here is just how long they stay in feudal age. Because, like, the golds on the back is kind of tempting. Anytime you have the gold in the back, you're feeling like you could maybe get away with getting to castle age. But when your wood line's this exposed, you can't really cut army numbers. I think, and also both civ, like, which civ is best in an elongated feudal war? Maybe that's better. Oh god, Liereyy runs into the TC a little bit. Maybe that's better for the Magyars? Because they get bloodlines on their scouts? I don't know. Lierey's going to take a sheep. And ACCM building a stable there. And Liereyy walling up the wood line. And ACCM will probably do the same. Yo, Fun Sponge, thanks for the gifted sub. And Lime Wookie gifted 5. When I was gone. Thank you, I guess. Appreciate it. Someone even said they're going to subscribe to immediately unsubscribe for this slacking. Sorry. I'm hydrating. What can I say? Chat tells me to hydrate. There's consequences to hydrating. You guys know how it works. So I had a funny interaction yesterday before this scout war heats up. And there's a very early blacksmith for Liereyy. So I think he'll be getting forging here in a second to get the double melee upgrades. I was at the beach yesterday with some friends. And most of the people in the group I didn't really know that well. A couple of them know what I do and all that stuff. So one person asked, he was like, how many civs do you have? He's like, because your game's like super old, right? And oh man, great engagements for ACCM, by the way. The spear hit happened, and he got the hitster on the scalp. Story time. Oh, wait. ACCM needs to be patient with his scouts. He killed the sheep that got stolen. Anyways, I'm like, we've got 50. What do we have now? 53. He was like, what? Now, granted, he was maybe a little drunk, but he was like, 50? I was like, yeah, man. We've got 50 now. He's like, what do you do, like bans and like picks, like in League of Legends and stuff? Do you do a draft? I was like, yep, that's exactly what we do. He was like, what? So I think he thought the game was a little bit more dead than it is. It's like, yeah, we do drafts and picks just like the X, Y, and Z game, and we have 50 some civs, and maybe more will come in the future. And so he was really invested in it. It was pretty cool. It's kind of crazy to think about myself. Forging's in now. And so with all that additional attack, Lierey's going to be very dangerous. Liereyy didn't end up losing a villager there. I think there's an argument for ACCM to just dive in and kill that vill, but if you do that, you throw army. Artist in chat says, why you make up stories? What aspect of that very specific story sounded made up? You think I came back from my piss break and said, let's make up a story about a time at a beach with a friend yesterday? The friend part. Oh, the friend part. Oh, I see. So that's a joke that I have no friends. Well, that part I can understand you guys actually feeling like maybe I don't. That much is fair. What is sun? What is beach? What is grass? I guess all those things do exist in Age of Empires, so I do experience them sometimes. Nice villager snipe there from Liereyy a moment ago. Sorry, from ACCM rather. And Liereyy wants revenge, but Liereyy eats the TC instead. But yeah, this is where, if you could wall, players would wall a little bit here. You know, they'd be full walling, and it would be kind of like the Red Bull games even in Empire Wars, where they'd stop making army. But there's a lot of reason to keep making army. Liereyy will queue up another scout after losing that. Both players have very strong spearmen, though. You've got the +1 attack because of the free forging from Magyars for ACCM. And then you have the +2 attack because of the double forging for the Khitans here. The thing about pastures, though, is once you get enough of them, food eco starts to go really hard. So I would be really worried if I'm ACCM about this being too long of a game. It's also wondering if we would see domestication researched here. I think there's an argument to get it now. But I don't think Lierey's going to. I think he's just going to focus fully on the numbers. Scouts are moving forward. Scouts are moving around for ACCM. And I don't know if Liereyy has an idea. Yeah, he should have an idea of that now. Villagers on gold are walled in. ACCM actually just walked to this gold to just get 50 gold, just so we can get bloodlines. Villagers going back out there now. It's a nice little detail, but that villager's been forgotten. And that villager disappears. And that's what's going to happen now. If these spearmen end up getting any hits. If the scouts get any hit and there's not enough spearmen. I was thinking about the spearmen because there's so many spearmen for Liereyy, and ACCM takes the engagement. I just don't think that's a good engagement. There's too many spears. And I think what he wasn't factoring in, he didn't realize that armor was researched there from Liereyy. And Liereyy ran in there, sniped another villager. Actually, 2 villagers somehow on the same farm. Yeah, Liereyy getting armor on the spearman is just... It's not something you really look for. You look for fletching. You look for bloodlines. Very rarely are you used to clicking spearmen and checking for the armor upgrade. ACCM's taken that engagement enough times with Magyar scouts with bloodlines to know that he'd kill the spearman at a slightly faster time. He looks back at the fight and he's probably like, wait, what? I also think he's looking at the army and he realizes there's not a lot of military for Liereyy. And Liereyy might be going to Castle Age, so here he comes, down 2 games. He wants to drop a tower here, but this gets spotted by a spearman. And Liereyy will see it. Liereyy will counter tower. ACCM could maybe catch a glimpse of the counter tower there. I think he needs to cancel. You could still try and tower, but you have to tower further back. Liereyy 2 minutes away from Castle Age. Scouts still patrolling around. They might end up coming home here. Yeah, thing is, though, I think that tower still gets ranged by Lierey's tower. So I don't know how good that tower is. I like the idea from ACCM because Lierey's obviously going to have some much better options in Castle Age. You need to do something. Yeah, I don't love this tower. It just really has not panned out for ACCM today. There's so many things have gone Lierey's way. I think the draft went Lierey's way. But yeah, this tower will complete for ACCM. It'll be weak. And villagers were just going to be here for the taking. And there's just not enough army from ACCM to back it up. It's not like he can do anything. I think this tower, it was the right idea. But as always, Liereyy is just always one step ahead. Always has the military. Let's not forget this civ also produces spearmen 15% faster and scouts 15% faster. So it's very easy to recover numbers if you ever need to if you're Liereyy. And it's double archer range for Liereyy. He wants to play cav archers. It's actually a bit tough with your woodline compromise to play cav archers. But I don't hate Bodkin because I think with Bodkin you can range the repair vills here. We might actually see the GG from ACCM. Lierey's about to get the sweep. Go directly to the quarterfinals. ACCM will be in the round of 12. He is much more dangerous than the scoreline suggests. It's just a really bad matchup for him, and I don't think the maps were very good for his play style against this player. ACCM known for his fight. Hasn't lost his tower yet. Still sees the villagers on the wood line. Is slowly weakening them. But, I mean, he's got to have to double down on the scout numbers. The second stable's coming in. He has to hope to make enough scouts against this army to get the damage. Since there's no bloodlines, you can kill off lancers and cav archers with Magyar scouts. Absolutely. And Lierey's woodline compromised. And he's trying to play cav archers. And he needs wood for the pastures to be replaced. You need a lot of wood eco if you're Liereyy. Oh, wait, but all the villagers died here. I don't know why I thought, okay, all the vills are dead. Never mind. Tower will go down. Liereyy will be back on the wood line. And, yeah. Now he can be back on wood. Now he's got the CA with the Lancers and can continue to make them. And we might be moments away from the GG here for ACCM. Just think, Kilimanjaro, he tried to surprise with an early opening, wasn't enough. Liereyy ran away with it. Game 2, it's a nomad map, which should be chaotic and adaptive, of course, but like it's very controlled because of the type of nomad it is. You always know where the town centers and docks are going to be. The builds are figured out. Everyone does the same thing. That's good for Liereyy. And then here, this is the Liereyy home map. Very controlled land map. Everyone goes for the same builds as well. None of these maps are maps that I think that people are going to surprise Liereyy on. And maybe some part of it for ACCM was because he needs to hide some of his best strats still. Still destined for the playoffs. Knew his chances, even with his best strategies, might not work out well against Lierey's playstyle. ACCM is permanently in feudal here. He will drop a defensive tower on the wood line. Probably needs a new lumber camp, which I'm sure he'll place. Liereyy still has spearmen around, and the cav archers are going to move forward now. And there's just not going to be enough towers to protect this eco if you're ACCM. Liereyy always has just enough defense, perfect amount of attack, perfect eco. And yeah, now he could just fully deny the golds. Actually, okay, interesting. I thought the market was being used and I didn't have it turned on. I think I didn't have it turned on. Sorry about that, guys. I turn it on and off depending on what content I'm doing and I always forget. Yeah, all the scouts have to come home now for ACCM. He does get enough stone to build a tower here. So he can take his gold again, but still can't kill the army, man. And it's just very sad for ACCM who wants to put up a fight. But I think we're going to be seeing Viper Tato pretty quickly here, guys. ACCM taps out, and Liereyy gets the win. I did expect Liereyy to win today. I said that the one map I could see ACCM winning on was Basmo. That was the map that ACCM chose not to play, which I actually think, while that gives us less entertainment, I actually think that's a smart move. You do not want to show your strategy on that map if you're going to lose the series anyways. All the other maps, very good for Lierey's playstyle. Lierey's just made it look very, very easy. So Liereyy will top the group. ACCM still got a lot to play for. And again, next series is Viper Tato in another group. So winner of that group also moves into a separate quarterfinal. And there's the res collected. It's a bit interesting. ACCM actually collected more food. But again, the engagements, guys. Like, if you add up the KD from all these games, Liereyy probably consistently had like a 3-1 KD. Like, he just never loses fights. And the thing is, it's like he never loses fights, and his eco management is just like perfectly set up. So you gotta, what do you do? Any tips? Like, what do you even do? What you need is maps where you have stone walls, You need where you need maps where the games go late, which again comes back to the draft. And there was only one, and that would have been Basma, which he didn't play. So Kilimanjaro game 1 is definitely not it. So that hurt. And then, Ring Nomad's not it either. So